Welcome everybody to the final race of the season. We're in Abu Dhabi for the final race. What a Grand Prix. I think it's all set at night time. It's set to be a great race. We are here first though for the qualifying session. We're in Q1. Let's hope we can make our way through. I did have a bit of trouble in practice. Practice 1 and 2 went pretty well. Practice 2 I actually just did like so many laps. But practice 3 I was on my qualifying pace lap and I spun and crashed. So I had to retire from the session. Obviously we still don't use flashbacks. So keeping it nice and realistic for you guys. So let's just hope we can have a little bit more luck and a little bit more skill. It was actually here. I cut across and I accelerated too early. I accelerated way too early, and I must have had my back tyres on the curb there. And yeah, I went flying into the barrier and lost my front wheel. So we did have to retire. We've done a lot of engine part changes as well for this. No grid penalties, luckily, which is good. It's all set to be a dry race at night in Abu Dhabi. It should be something spectacular. First of all, though, let's find out where we're going to be on the grid. I'm still getting good with the wheel. It's, he says that as he runs wide in turn 1 and has to let go on turn 2. He's not set himself up for glory here, is he, on this lap? We're up to 80 difficulty. I can't remember if we were on 80 difficulty or not. When we were in Brazil, I can't remember what we were in Brazil, but either way, we're up to 80 difficulty. We weren't exactly putting in great laps during practice, but I can't say I was putting in any super fast times, so it's still pretty difficult for me to gauge where we're actually going to be sitting. We'll see how it goes, I guess, because it's quite a long track. There's plenty to do, and all we really need to be is in P16 or above to start with, which I'm fairly comfortable and fairly confident that we can do. I have saved some R&D points because I had about 800 after practice. I went to go and spend some, and everything I was choosing, it was going, oh, you must adapt it, fit it, and you must fit it and adapt it before next season. Otherwise you will lose this part. So I haven't bothered doing anything. I did have a powertrain upgrade on the way, I think, that I don't think was affected. It was just a minor one. So we'll see how that one pans out. I don't think there was anything else. I did spend 7.5 mil on the, I think it's the marketing one. We've got Karen that sits in the office for the marketing. We did spend 5 mil on the sponsorship thing, and then 2.5 mil on the team building bonuses. Our engine wear's actually gone already. The warning lights come on, which isn't fantastic. We've set a lap that is behind Magnussen, which is actually quite worrying, to be honest. That shows me that it's really not a good lap, because Haas haven't been good. I mean, we're like the 4th worst car, I think, on the grid at the moment, so we're definitely deserving to be fighting a little bit harder than down at the bottom. I think we've got Williams, Haas, and I think us and Alfa Romeo are basically tied, so we do need to try and make sure we're ahead of Haas. This is a way better lap already. I've made section 1 a lot more comfortable there, so let's hope we can see. Our best was a 138, Hamilton's just done a 136, so quite a way off there on Hamilton, but that's, to be expected, really. It's quite a nice track, though, actually. I do quite like driving Abu Dhabi here. It's quite a nice circuit at Yas Marina. It is quite a nice one. I'm quite enjoying it, actually. And the wheel is definitely making things more exciting and more enjoyable now that I'm getting fairly good at the wheel. We're definitely getting a lot more comfortable. We will have to obviously try and get traction control down to medium again if we can. I think that's going to be a punishing change when we get that. Maybe we try that for Season 2. I still think Season 2 is all about us potentially just fighting for points again, kind of like we are at the moment. We've had a few races where we've done quite well for points. Strategy has definitely been coming into this a lot lately. The dynamic weather in Brazil was incredible, and that race in Mexico, where I managed to drag the mediums out for an extra 5 laps on the pit window, was fantastic. And that lap there puts us in 4th, which I think will be enough for us to go through to Q2. So we'll return to the garage. We'll see what the session info is saying. 2 laps already out on there, and I don't know how Nick's going to be doing. And that's one other thing, is I need to figure out what do we do with our money, guys, because I'm slightly worried. I don't really want Nick De Vries again. He's only 3 mil, but I want someone that might be challenging for points. I think we'll be okay in 11th. I can't see us dropping 6 places in the last 2 minutes, although everyone below us will be out on track. I can't see us dropping down to 17th. We may drop one place if we're unlucky. I don't think Nick will have qualified. We actually dropped to 14th in the end, so we were a lot closer than we needed to be there. We were, what, 0.111 out. Well, we've saved the tyres. We don't need to use the other set, so that's fine. Right, we'll go through to session 2, where trying to get top 10 might be a bit of an ask. Must be said. It might be a bit of a task to get through here. Let's try and get straight out on track again, shall we? Let's go to the track. Let's go for that flying lap. It's a tough circuit though at Yas Marina. Obviously you've got a couple of good long straights, but there's quite a few sort of quick turns. Obviously these are really quick turns, and this is a quick turn into a big braking zone here. It's a very big turn, that one. You can mess yourself up there, and again, trying to drift through some of these corners, it's like, you know, do you dab on the brakes and then go for it? Do you just coast it round? A lot of technicality to this circuit compared to many of the others that we've driven recently, like, you know, Brazil, for example. There needs to be a good exit here. It's not the fastest exit out of that turn there, but let's see where we can put ourselves on the grid. We just need to get one good lap where we absolutely nail it, and that's not a bad start, you know. On the curb, you really don't want to be on the curb there on the inside, because if you're accelerating too much and turning at the same time, it is goodbye. It's definitely goodbye on those turns. Not bad, we've got quite tight up there. That's quite a good first sector actually, quite clean. TRS open as well, so let's see. What are we... It's the ES and the MGUH that are quite worn, MGUK as well. Not looking too pretty. But I thought for the last race, there's no point in us taking a grid penalty because it's one final race. Really no point in starting at the back of the grid here. There's plenty of overtaking opportunities in Abu Dhabi though, to be fair. But I just didn't think there was any point in us taking a grid penalty for the final race of the season. I'd like to just score some points at the end of the season. I've seen a couple of friends that have completed their first season, and you do get a constructor's bonus. I don't think we can... I think it's maybe Renault that are above us from what I can remember. We're far too far behind unless, you know, unless we get like a 1-2, which, you know, is never going to happen. There's no way that we're going to catch them. So the constructors, I don't know how much money we get from it, because I really don't know. I want to go for the Mercedes engine next year, which was like 4.7 mil in the first season, I think it was. So if it's that again, you know, that's a lot of money. But I'm a bit tentative on whether I spend a lot of money on a new driver. We do go second there, which is quite good. I think that should be okay. But yeah, do let me know in the comments, guys. I really need some help on where do we spend our money, because we could upgrade all the facilities a lot more, or we could buy a secondary driver. The only thing with a secondary driver is you obviously need a lot of money to then spend on them to keep them again. And I have a funny feeling we're going to be out in Q2 here, aren't we? We are going to be out in Q2. Bottas has tried the mediums and he has failed miserably. We are quite far behind here, which is not good. Let's see if we can change tyres again. I think our next lap's going to kind of be our last one, really, because we're going to have to use a fresh set of tyres, and we're going to have to hope for a very good lap time here. I think this will be our final lap of the qualifying session. Because, you know, when you do a second lap, you don't always tend to do too well because the tyres are slightly worn. The only issue being is if I make a mistake on this lap. So it's kind of like a one-shot qualifier for us now to try and get through to Q3. Is it going to happen? I don't feel like it is. I feel like this could be a big battle for any kind of points out of this track, to be honest. I don't feel like it is our greatest track, and as you can see here, I'm already struggling after just turn 1, and I don't know, the car is not quite reacting the way we want it to at the moment, and we are losing a lot of time in this first sector already, and that's a little bit of cheeky there to try and push a little bit of time out there. But and again, we're just not clicking with the car here in Abu Dhabi, and it's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good. Obviously Bottas took a risk going with the I tell you what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to turn the hot lap down, because I think we'll recharge our ERS here, and we'll go for a big lap next time. I think I'll keep it on max fuel, actually try and burn off as much as we can, and then we'll go for that hot lap afterwards. We've got none on the ERS, so we'll try and slam on the brakes to try and generate as much power as possible for our next lap. It's yeah, not a good lap there at all. We're going to try and produce one more lap, and I'll tell you what, it's going to have to be a miracle lap if we even want to make it through to Q3, I think. And even if we get through to Q3, I think we'll probably be a sitting duck and we'll be looking at 10th place at best. But I don't know if Bottas has gone out on soft as well, actually, so he may well leapfrog us as well. Right, here we go.
2 minutes remaining in the session. We need a good lap
Max
here.
fuel.
We're out of qualifier.
I know, Jeff, I know. Here we go. Proper focus. Hot lap is on. Maximum fuel. Let's give it a good go. Come on. Getting a bit too tight in turn 1, aren't I, really? I'm getting a bit too tight in turn 1 there. That's better there through turn 2. Turn 3 looking good as well, but we're losing time already, which isn't a good sign. Slightly later on the brakes there, which is good. Generating a little bit of speed there. It's this corner as well seems to catch us out quite a bit. Okay, we're away here and we're not gaining time, we're actually losing time again, which isn't ideal. We're not far off though, so one big bit of late braking might help us out here, but we're not looking too pretty at the moment, and that is very heavy on the brakes there. We've had to go very heavy on the brakes, and we've lost a lot of time through there, and I think we might be looking at a very unlucky P13, but Bottas is on soft. I'm assuming he's going to overtake us, so it may well be P14 unless we can produce out an absolute miracle Sector 3. And I mean, it is going to have to be miraculous if it's going to produce anything good. It is going to have to be a miracle here in Abu Dhabi. We've done very well through that little section though, gained a few tenths there, but I think we're going to need a good half a second if we're going to want to do anything good here. It's going to have to take something special in the last couple of corners, and I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, track limits pushed right to the extreme there. Not quite sure how we didn't hit the wall there, but we didn't. We're going to be very close to producing a slightly better time, but it's not going to be anything crazy. It does bump us up to P12. We're on hot lap, but I think our ERS is probably burnt out. We've already run wide there, which isn't a great start. We might be able to put one final lap in, but it's going to have to be an absolute miracle here. And I don't see us producing anything good enough to do it. It's going to have to be one where I just throw the car around everywhere, and I think we've already lost half a second here, guys, and we're going to have to just accept the fact that we are going to be out in Q2, unfortunately, for the final lap of the race. So let's see where we do stack up. I don't know if Bottas qualified at the end there or not. He didn't. He went fastest, and we do get bumped down to 13th. So we'll be starting P13. We're not far. I mean, we are quite far away. We're sort of almost half a second off the pace, actually, even for 10th. So yeah, not the best qualifying session, but P13 is still a chance for at least a point in Abu Dhabi. It's going to take some good driving, maybe a little bit of luck, and maybe a very, very good good strategy as well. But we'll see you for the race very soon.